working on the delivery spawn point for the Amazon, and my man, he missed it by that much. Jeez. Kobe!
Hey everybody, welcome back to Viridian County. I'm your host, Red Kool-Aid. On our last episode, we started our college campus. We built a nightlife district with a Roscoe's Chicken and Waffles. This episode, we're gonna build a shopping center with a tram stop right in the middle. Let's get into it. Before we get into our main quest, we need to do a quick side mission. I need to lay down an elderly home and some child care. I have neglected doing this, and I definitely have the space. So let's go ahead and lay this down. A little bit of quick detail and nothing major, because I actually want to check the workshop to see if there may be a better, more fitting elderly home. Right behind this, we're gonna lay down a learning center asset. I really like that. Access child care, boost that lifespan, make sure our citizens are living their best life. The next piece of maintenance we need to take care of is our recycling center situation. The recycling centers on the game actually produce a small amount of raw materials that can be used by some of our factories in our city. I think all of the factories in our city right now are, they require oil products and farming products. So I'm gonna make some warehousing that will hold on to our forestry products and our ore products. That way, when I lay down a couple of more industrial assets, we won't have to worry about, y'all know how I feel about people in Rockdale. Don't come around here with your stuff. If we already have stuff, let's use our stuff. So we're gonna lay down a warehouse here. This is our other recycling center that's way down near our college campus. Again, I'm gonna put this one on forestry products, no imports. And we can leave it on exports just a little bit. And this one I'm gonna make for our, no that. We're gonna use this on, ore products. So anything that gets produced out of those recycling centers, we can hold on to. I'm also gonna lay down just a generic yellow industrial building. I'm not sure exactly what right now it's gonna require, but regardless, we'll have it covered, especially with the warehousing being right here. And pushing further towards our goal of not needing anyone's commercial goods. Let's just lay down one random thing, a little bit of detail and nothing major. I've been trying to dial back the extreme amounts of detail, and I think I found a good format with this episode. So, let me know in the comments if this is a tighter format as far as finding one goal and one thing to tackle and just handling it in that episode. Up until this point, we haven't had enough of a city for me to really do that, but that was always my goal. I don't want the episodes to feel scattered. I'm gonna lay down just a few industrial props just to make the area look a little busier. Some crates and things, some knickknacks, some bric-a-braca. And the last thing we need to make sure is that this building isn't importing anything and not exporting anything. On our last episode, we laid down this Giant Eagle Market District asset. I love this asset, but it's not a good use of the area. We can make this a lot more interesting. My first thought was to do a sunken shopping center, but I've seen that, done that, bought the t-shirt. Let's do something different. I'm gonna leave the network, the tram network, at ground level, and I'm gonna raise the shopping area onto a hill, and I'm gonna name the district Ambercrest. Now, the hardest part about doing this, I found from trying to sandbox it, was when you move the tram networks around, sometimes the people getting off the trams will walk a weird path and then go up the stairs to the upper area. So it took some trial and error, but I did finally figure that out. We're gonna lay down some raised roads. I wanna make some kind of park area underneath that, smooth everything out, and now we're gonna lay down a few assets. As always, we use retaining walls to kind of rope everything off and give it, you know, a singular feel. Then we're going to use some ploppable surfaces so everything blends in. I really didn't know which way I wanted to go. I was thinking gravel, I was thinking a lot of different things, but I think the classic pavement just worked the best for this spot. This middle part will be our quad area, and that's where we'll lay down our path with stairs asset I downloaded from the workshop. We're gonna keep copying our retainer wall pieces, and the next part of this, I believe, let's drag this out first. Drag out, and then we gotta use some ploppable surface to kind of clean all this up and make everything, you know, nice and level. About this time is where I realized that I actually should have made my retaining wall just a little bit higher before I copied it, but I will go back and raise all of the retaining wall area so the paths, I want them to just tuck under just a bit underneath, and I will line everything with some more modern fencing. I don't use the iron fencing and things that I'm usually using. I use something a little more modern. Lay down all this surface. Right here we'll lay down, and this part is, like I said, the hardest part because the paths will go weird on you. So I lay down a little piece that I know will attach to the main pedestrian street. No problems there. Can't be a problem, right? This part is the part that always messes up. So we're going to extend it down, snap it in, and it looks great. So we're going to go ahead and copy this over, and then I'm going to just run a time lapse for a second to see if everything... I want to see at least 2 or 3 people get off the tram and walk straight up the stairs on both sides, and then I'll know it's working. All right, now that I'm comfortable that the paths are working and the stop is working exactly how it's supposed to work, I'm going to lay down 1 or 2 assets, and I'm going to flatten all this down. I'm not going to detail this yet. But I am going to lay down 1 or 2 assets and make sure that the path that the pedestrians are on still travels. They don't do any weird dips or like walk way underground. I'll explain all this later when I get to detailing this part. Right now, we need to reconnect the rest of our tram network and just reconnect some of the network in general, the streets and things. Let's get into it. So here on the corner, I'm gonna lay down a Chevron station just to give this shopping center area like this is where it ends. And I'm also gonna lay down a few of the New England townhome assets. If you saw a minute ago, I laid down a piece of tram network that flowed right alongside of the street. I want to put these houses directly behind that, so they're close enough to the street to still get garbage service, police, and things like that. I don't want any complaints, but I want to make an area of these are rich people houses. They bought them a long time ago. They're never selling. They're right on the tram line. This is right on the edge of our college campus, so maybe, you know, these are some important people houses right here, and maybe even we'll use a couple of signs to, you know, make it feel like there's a couple of these are commercial assets. We're gonna decorate this up with some gravel texture, surface painter, and I'm gonna use some decals to kind of give this some fall off. I don't want it to just go dead like that, and I don't want to put plants everywhere, but there will be a lot of foliage behind this area to seal it off from the college campus. Still using our fall trees. I love the way the fall trees look in the cinematics. Right now I'm gonna do one of my favorite tricks. I'm gonna decorate one planter on one side and basically just copy and paste it to decorate all of them. Saves time, and I'm not doing anything too dramatic, so we're just gonna use a few bushes and some of our classic iron fencing, and that way we can just, once we're done decorating this, let's put a couple of benches and stuff on alongside it too. Let's lay down our fences first. Get that right. Let's copy this whole thing, flip it, straighten that up. We need to straighten that up. Some benches down. Yeah, that's gonna bother me. We need to get that. We need to get that right. We need to get that better. Let's go ahead and copy the benches and flip those. And let's copy everything. And let's just apply this to the side. This is just a general decoration for this whole little area. Not overthinking it. Again, you see me trying to find ways to make the detailing more integrated and less intensive. I don't want to have 25-minute time lapses, and they could be if I just did it how it came. I'm also gonna lay down a few of the curb assets in the front, throw some bushes in those. This is pretty straightforward though. I'm gonna turn the music up. Jumping back over to our Tram stop quad shopping area, I just want to explain my thought process. Is you'll see me do and undo a few things, and I just want to give some context. I don't like using procedural objects on buildings. I want the buildings to be functional. I want people to go in and be shopping. I want to have to deal with the pressure of the traffic and the logistics of the traffic, especially with an area like this where it's underground. So a part of the challenge is, how do I get goods delivered down there? But one of the drawbacks to this area is using certain assets would make the terrain conform, and it would change the pathing of the people getting off the trams. So you'll see me lay down, hold on, let me do some fencing. Gotta put my fencing on. That right. All right, you'll see me lay down like this Urban Outfitters, but when I push it back towards where I want it, it makes the terrain buckle, and people will walk in that same direction. So I had to convert this to a procedural object, and I thought, that worked for that asset. So my first thought process was, let's just use a lot of little small assets like that and create our shopping area. So I started laying down a cantina and a flower shop. It was working for me at first, and then I started thinking, I don't want to have a bunch of procedural object buildings. That's pointless. So then I went to using instant pop-up shop front sort of assets, and I thought about these, and they just didn't have a big enough footprint on the wall, I felt. So ultimately, in the end, I did away with everything. I went back through Find It. I looked through the assets. I beat my head against the wall, and the solution that I came up with, drum roll please, ta-da, our University Cities asset. This is a King Leno asset, but it comes with the University Cities pack. It's just a 1-unit asset storefront, and I can change the color on it. So immediately I knew the next thing I needed to do was bring the height down. Handy dandy procedural objects, I selected the top few access points. This took me trial and error because I've never actually done this. You're watching me do this on camera for the first time ever. I access those top points, and then I used the position to drag those points down to where they were underground. You can see me struggling using the wrong thing just there. But I figured it out. I got it to where I wanted it, and this is where I really got excited because now I knew I could use different assets but still have a uniform feel to the area. So I copied a few of these around, sprinkled them out, no real format to it. And the last thing I do is I go through and change the colors to more match the stone patterns on the wall. We don't really need anything to be too red. I have one more part of this build that I'm really excited about. You guys stay tuned. We're going to do a bit of a time lapse. We're going to decorate this up. It's Viridian County.
This the sounds of the city, DJ Rucko.
Damn, Zeus, you too cold, bro. Ones that hate me the most look just like me. You tell me what that means. Make a slick comment and see what that brings. I seen it go down, we can reenact things. Extreme like DMXing. These boys pussy and they PMSing. People in the city see the movement occurring and say, my God, I wanna be in that scene. Ones that hate me the most look just like me. You tell me what that means. Make a slick comment and see what that brings. I seen it go down, we can reenact things. Extreme like DMXing. These boys pussy and they PMSing. People in the city see the movement occurring and say, my God, I wanna be in that scene. Damn right you wanna be in this scene. She had the video trying to be in this scene. Used to fantasize about being this scene. Bluegrass girl, but she got big dreams. Can't touch me, I got instincts. Locked in the house, but I'm plotting things. I brought a gang to the party with me. 5 white boys, but they not in sync. What y'all think? Dirty thing that you say about me. My dogs like to play Madden and 2K. But one thing they don't do is play about me. My homeboy Tyler, he playing South Beach. He told me this summer he gon' fix my jumper. I told boy Wonder that we might got his bumper. I've been trying to pop, now I'm on like Shumper. Now they on my bumper. Green room chock full of all my comforts. Hotel room like heaven on earth. Got angels in my bed with some all white covers. Age Pro Nemo, Lucci and Kiso, Sloop Clay Tufo. And I got a few more I call my brothers. I got a lot of flows and they all like butter. You know what that means. I came home nice, but I'm going back mean. I'm about to globe trot when they know a vaccine. Motherfuckers act lost, but they know exactly what's going on. Made a bill and I don't know where to blow it on. I tell a critic shut up like my show is on. Give a t-shirt to a set, throw it on. She want a mini high school classmates, I'm growing on. My peers ain't poppin', they don't know what's going wrong. Y'all well dressed, but you ain't got soul and you just can't sew it on. I'm trying to tell y'all boys, I got a few songs I can sell y'all boys. I tried it back then, it was hell nah, boy. Now I'm in a box like a Kellogg's toy. Damn right you wanna be in this scene. She had the video trying to be in this scene. Used to fantasize about being this scene. Bluegrass girl, but she got big dreams. Can't touch me, I got instincts. Locked in the house, but I'm plotting things. I brought a gang to the party with me. 5 white boys, but they not in sync. Ones that hate me
And you may have noticed that this one building didn't get any detail and any love. That's because I wanted to save it for something special. I wanted to do our first custom business for this game. Everybody does burgers. I wanted to do sandwiches. So we went into Photoshop. We made a cool logo. We kind of did the colors to match the existing asset, because again, I'm not a creator. I don't do any of that. I just know how to work Photoshop a little bit. I know how to work procedural objects a little bit. So I exported this as PNGs, loaded it into the texture folder, saved another one so I could make a little flag or something, and I made my own sign. And here we are putting our custom sign on our business. It took me a while to get this right. We're gonna lay these flags out. I think these flags are too big. I'm actually gonna make them smaller, but it looks good. It just looks so good. And then we made a city poster that we can not only put in this area, but just kind of put around the city in other places. We're gonna put around, but yeah, man, Viridian Sandwich Co. It's tasty and fresh. Come get you something. Y'all know they got that fire artisanal mayonnaise. It be hitting. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I did actually catch one of our delivery drivers trying to figure out how exactly he was going to deliver goods. For anybody wondering about how the goods will get delivered, using spawn points, you can manipulate the heights of the deliveries, but here you can see I got it all wrong. I was working on the delivery spawn point for the Amazon, and my man, he missed it by that much. He's Kobe. Yeah, so we're gonna get into our cinematics. I'm gonna tap in with you guys towards the end. Viridian Sandwich Co., Viridian County. Let's roll those cinematics. I want to thank you guys for hanging out. This has been episode 6. I really feel like we found our flow on this episode, so make sure you like, subscribe, comment, hit the notification bell. Come back for episode 7. It's not going to be long. We dropping them like Young Boy mixtapes. Stay tuned. This is Viridian County.